Welcome to Ventev's webinar, How to Select the Correct Wi-Fi Antenna when Designing High-Density Networks. Thank you for joining us. My name is Brian Smith, and I'm Ventev's Regional Sales Executive for the Northeast United States. Ventev is an engineering-driven manufacturer of mobile accessories and wireless infrastructure. Ventev Wireless Infrastructure offers three industry-leading product lines. Terrawave manufactures antennas, enclosures, cable, site survey tools, lightning protection, and other wireless accessories. Ventev is a product line of factory direct, fully integrated power enclosures to protect and power radios in any location. Wireless Solution engineers professional grade towers, site hardware, and accessories for base station infrastructure. Together, Ventev brands offer the entire ecosystem of products to deploy, power, protect, and improve the performance of every type of wireless radio network. Ventev's fully integrated power enclosure systems deploy, protect, and power a radio in any environment. What is a high-density network? A high-density network converts traditional coverage-oriented Wi-Fi to capacity-oriented Wi-Fi that will meet the demands of high density of Wi-Fi users, such as those found in universities and corporate campuses, stadiums, convention centers, airports, city centers, auditoriums, manufacturing, and warehouse facilities. Why is the traditional Wi-Fi network inadequate for high densities of Wi-Fi users? Today's Wi-Fi network is much more powerful and robust than anything large venue IT network owners could have ever dreamed of a decade ago. In addition, network performance demands continue to increase as mobile devices are becoming more and more prevalent, and the applications they are using require more and more bandwidth. What's even more challenging about the BYOD phenomenon for IT network designers is that users now have an average of 2 or even 3 devices that they expect high-quality internet connectivity to anywhere they happen to be. Many of the applications like video require enough bandwidth to transmit huge files. As a result, conventional networks can be overwhelmed when large concentrations of users attempt to access the network simultaneously. When the number of user devices and their application throughput requirements exceed the available capacity of the traditional Wi-Fi network, the high-density network is the solution. What's the difference between conventional Wi-Fi networks and high-density networks? The focus for conventional Wi-Fi networks has always been to provide sufficient coverage in all areas where the network has been implemented. For high-density networks, the focus is to ensure sufficient capacity, higher data rates, while maintaining similar coverage to traditional Wi-Fi networks. How does the high-density network work? High-density networks improve capacity by mapping clients into smaller radio frequency cells of operation. These narrower cells are created by using narrow beam antennas connected to the AP that minimize channel-to-channel interference, which is the most significant cause of limited performance in a Wi-Fi network. Having fewer users per AP maximizes the use of spectral capacity, resulting in higher capacity per user. Critical design variables that must be considered in high-density network design include total coverage area, channel utilization, frequency of use, interference, signal strength, spectral capacity, and regulatory requirements. What is the process for creating a high-density network? Designing the high-density network begins with a comprehensive analysis of existing client infrastructure capabilities, physical facility characteristics, number of users and clients, number of Wi-Fi enabled devices per user, applications used, and required capacity per client device. After the AP is selected, a site survey or plan is designed which determines how many, as well as where, the APs and high-density antennas will be installed throughout the area. Finally, testing is performed and adjustments are made to refine the design for the highest capacity with the least amount of interference. Using the example of a college campus environment, creating a high-density networks begins with estimating the number of clients and client devices that will be supported in the location, classroom. Then, client device application throughput requirements are used to determine overall capacity necessary for deployment. Typical application throughput requirements for campus environments include conducting research on the internet, accessing email, and viewing shared online classroom resources. Once the AP is selected, a site survey or plan is designed which determines how many, as well as where the APs and their HD antennas will be located and installed throughout the lecture hall or classroom. The system is tested and adjusted for maximum capacity. Why high-density antennas? To design high-density networks, narrow beamwidth directional antennas are an absolute necessity. Higher data rates are inversely proportional to greater coverage. That is, the greater the data rate, the smaller coverage area. Generally speaking, the narrower the beamwidth of the antenna, the better it is for an HD network to provide stronger, more reliable Wi-Fi signals, reduce channel-to-channel interference, and increase capacity per user. Comparing traditional and high-density antennas. The specifications of the HD antenna are integral to the HD network performance. Two key specifications that define high-density antennas are beamwidth and gain. Beamwidth is measured at two frequency ranges, 2.5 and 5 GHz, and two directions, horizontal and vertical. To choose the beamwidth needed, a network designer needs to calculate the required capacity per client device in a given area while taking into account co-channel interference. The other key specification of high-density antennas is gain. Traditional antenna gain ranges from 2 to 6 dBi. High-density antenna gain begins at 4 dBi and can increase to 14 dBi or higher. Lower gain antennas are used to minimize floor-to-floor interference in venues such as classroom buildings. Higher gain antennas are beneficial in large venue deployments where the distance to the RF signal must propagate from the antenna to the users is much greater, such as large outdoor public events and stadiums, or indoor venues such as concert halls or train stations. This is a case study we did recently and is a good example of how high-density antennas are used in colleges and universities. The client was Georgia Tech. The challenge they were facing was to accommodate the explosion of wireless technology used on campus, needed to upgrade network service in several of its large auditoriums, lecture halls, and classrooms. They had three goals. Number one, optimize wireless service to provide reliable network connectivity to support multiple mobile devices used by students today and in the future. Number two, reduce the RF footprint and limit the number of users per access point. And finally, minimize channel-to-channel interference. The solutions. They used a Cisco 3602E access point along with TeraWave's quad patch antenna. The benefits of the high-density quad patch antenna has a narrower beam pattern and the same gain at 5 gig and 2.4. The antenna allows you to focus RF and limit the number of users per access point, which meant more bandwidth per user and improved quality of service. Why TeraWave high-density antennas? TeraWave is the leading manufacturer of high-density antennas. We've been in the high-density market the longest and have had several first-to-market products. Ventev's TeraWave antennas are sold exclusively through Tesco Technologies for guaranteed risk-free purchasing. Mounting solutions. Several mounting solutions are available to allow placement of high-density antennas in any location, including decor-friendly ceiling and wall mounts, mast or pole mounts, an innovative under-the-seat mount used in stadiums, and our new co-locating mount allows the AP and the antenna to be mounted together. As with all of our products, our high-density antennas and mounts are designed to be used with access points from a variety of industry-leading manufacturers such as Aruba, Cisco, Juniper, Beru, Motorola, as well as others. Ventev offers a suite of TeraWave high-density antennas designed to specifically address the entire range of high-density deployments from stadiums, convention centers and campuses, to city centers, corporate centers, and manufacturing facilities. You can see that the lower gain antennas are generally for smaller venues while the higher gain are for larger ones like stadiums. We're adding more antennas as we learn of high-density needs in the market. As an engineering-driven manufacturer, our new products often begin with solutions we've designed for specific applications. If you would like more information, please visit terawave.com/HD antennas or call 1-800-851-4965. We'd love to hear from you to help you plan your next project or just to answer any questions. Thank you very much for attending.